Hey guys, Uncle Oz back with Little Liz. We are back for heat number 3. This is our review video from the World's Strongest Man production on Channel 5 in the UK. If you haven't seen it, go and make sure you check out Channel 5. They have 5 on demand, is it?
Yeah, my5.co.uk?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'll post a link.
You post a link, excellent. So heat number 3, I made a mistake yesterday. I got the heat wrong, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
So very quickly, Liz will go through the athletes competing. It's quite an exciting group.
Yes.
Good young prospects.
Yeah.
A lot of the new real superstars of Strongman. So quickly, Lizzie, tell us who's in.
Okay, so in this group then we had Scotland's Tom Stoltman, we had Maxime Boudreau from Canada, Gav Bilton from Great Britain representing Wales, Trey Mitchell from the USA, and of course from the Ukraine we had Alexei Novikov.
Exciting group. We got the first Welshman since Gary Taylor. That's a big achievement for Gav Bilton. Yeah. He probably didn't expect to get to Worlds this year. Got a call up last minute, won the UK Strongest Man.
Yeah.
Amazing opportunity for the big man. His rise over the last few years has been awesome to watch.
His growth as well.
He looks
massive.
Well, they said on camera that he's the heaviest guy to ever compete at Worlds. I don't know how true that is.
Glenn Ross was absolutely hench at one point, wasn't he?
He was I know Glenn got pretty big, and there's been a few other big boys.
Who could have been heavier? Brian, maybe, at any point?
Brian, at his biggest, was hard to know because he refused to get weighed.
Really?
Yeah, but Brian's obviously slimmed down a little bit now. But, I mean, without question, Gav is massive.
Yeah, Gav is massive. There's no question that.
And deserved to be there. He
won UK Strongest Man
this year.
You know.
Alexei Novikov, we all know how good this guy is. One of the young superstars of the sport. He's won countless shows across the world. And obviously had an awesome battle last year with Trey Mitchell, and they're both in the same group. Came down to the stone off. And... Trey beat him last year on that, even though Alexei was so much further ahead. And obviously, Maxime Boudreau, new Canadian guy, very, very good. And then Tom Stoltman. Everyone expects big things from Tom, myself included. He's just been progressing incredibly well the last couple of years. And... he's
starting to come into his peak now. I don't think he's even near it though, but I think we're starting to see
better and better every year.
Ramping up now. It's getting exciting. But this whole group caused such a stir. For those that don't know, when people saw this group, they were like, "What on earth is going on in this group? Why is it so stacked?" And then Novikov was moved, wasn't he? He was moved into Group 5, and then everyone was like, "No, that's even worse." Yeah. So they moved him back. There was a little bit of a mix around, wasn't there? I don't think Maxime was originally supposed to be in this group.
There was a bit of chopping and changing, and this happens at Worlds quite a lot. It's one of the reasons I don't personally like the groups.
No,
but. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It makes it exciting. It's different. And I mean, we're going to come to a few things.
It's less stressful when you're not involved in it yourself and being personally impacted by it. But
definitely. Anyway, to the first event. First event, Farmers Walk. Same for all the groups. I won't go too much detail. We've been through it already. I'm just going to shoot through the results. Trey Mitchell would be disappointed, I think, coming last on this.
Of course.
We've seen him do some much better frame Farmers Walk performances. Watching... He just looked like he caught the back of his leg.
Yeah.
And I said yesterday, in yesterday's heats, these Slater Rogue Farmers, they're very, very long, very awkward. The handles are very long, so it's hard to sort of figure out where to put your hands perfectly. And as the guy, especially guys like Trey, who's kind of a little bit shorter, big legs, like stocky, if not stocky.
I'm pretty sure they got him down as 6'4".
Well, they had everyone down as 6'4".
Yeah,
so
I was like, what?
I never paid too much attention. I think they had Hicksy down as 135 kilos the other night, and I know Hicksy was weighing in about 165 at the time. So
10 years old, their information.
We ignore the information. But Trey, not the best performance from him.
No.
I know he's capable of better, but like I said yesterday, awkward farmers.
And the problem is as well, unlike a normal farmers where they can just regrip and go again, once you're down, you're done, aren't you? So there's no second chances of this sort of run, so it's a shame.
Second place was Gav Bilton, putting in a distance of 31.5, and we've said in some other groups that would have scored much better.
Yes, it would.
Then we had Tom Stoltman coming third, first event for Tom, taking third place. Maxime Boudreau showing why he's a world-class athlete. Those Canadian guys, they tend to have strong grips. They're good.
Canadian grip strength.
Yeah,
Not
it's
you
a
too.
real thing. And it's a very real thing.
Is it? Christ.
And then Alexei Novikov, maybe not the strongest grip you'd expect, but damn, he was quick between the runs.
Yeah, really quick.
He was not hanging about at all, just
No.
really, really fast.
Yeah.
The best distance out of anyone in any group, 57.54 metres.
That's some good going. I mean, I think Tom did brilliant to overcome some of the pickup issues that he had, because he looked like he really couldn't quite figure out the perfect sweet spot in the middle of the handles. Like at one point they were too far, and Evan had the
We've
same
seen a
trouble,
few guys
didn't
having the
he?
same issue. It just, if you don't quite get it right, and it's hard, especially when you're turning, you know, you go to one way, you turn, you've got to then adjust your hands, and just sometimes you find they pick it up and the farmers shoot down or they shoot up.
Yeah.
You're always better off for them to shoot up, because if they shoot up, they will drag along the floor. Whereas if the farmers shoot down, then they can dig into the floor, and that can really mess up your go. Moving on to the next event, is the first time we've seen this year.
Yes.
Was the squat lift. It was 700 pounds, which is 317.5 kilos, the globe squat. And one thing I think that's good, they've adjusted this year, they've got the softer pads to squat down to.
better.
So in the past they had like these really, you know, solid metal.
And they were
blocks.
much narrower. They were like that wide, weren't they? So you hit it, and it's like,
And the metal globe hitting the metal stoppers really threw guys off. Whereas these kind of, they just take the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that kind of figured out how to time it can get a little bit of a bounce.
Yeah.
Actually, Alexei Novikov did not look like he was the best at squatting.
No.
His knees were kind of buckling in.
swaying.
I think by the 7th or 8th rep, he was looking like he was done. And then he managed to go into another gear and figured out just a way of getting a few more reps out of it. That guy's got so much raw power.
Yeah.
Just...
And his ability to adapt and sort of recover from, he just doesn't let it get in his head, does he?
No, he's
Wow,
got
so
like,
he's a workhorse.
there's no sort of off switch with him. He just
No.
knows he can just keep going and going and going. And that's a blessing of youth sometimes, you know. It's
You said that while we were watching.
I was just looking at his knees. His knee, just from my kind of coaching kind of side of things, you just see his knees buckling in, and that's something you're always trying to avoid if you can. And not just buckling in, but unevenly as well.
Yeah, sort of
so
going
like
that.
you know, his weight distribution wasn't even.
No.
So then you're working harder on one side of the
Quite
body.
a wide stance as well, didn't he?
The stance was okay. The width of stance. I mean, that everyone varies, you know, width of the stance. But yeah, there was, you know, it wasn't.
It didn't seem to suit him at the time.
I mean, it just wasn't technically that efficient. But he just makes up for that
anyway,
with pure power, hitting 10 reps. Only beaten by Trey Mitchell. Trey had to come out first. Had to really set the marker. Big, strong, static guy Trey is, and you know, big, strong legs. Obviously, hitting 11 reps, double figures on this squat is always impressive. Tom Stoltman, again, not renowned as the biggest squatter in the world. Very, very tall, not built for squatting. Hitting 8 reps to take 3rd place.
I quite like Tom's technique as well.
He looked solid.
Quite smart looking squats, you know. Quite
Tom looked really, really solid. His squats improved a lot. He's got so far to travel. When you're that tall, squats aren't the most
fun thing to do.
You know, he much prefers a deadlift.
Yeah, of course.
But he's still a great squatter. 8 repetitions. Maxime hitting 7 reps. Looked like he struggled a bit more, but he kind of ground out a few extra reps.
He did a lot more than I thought he was going to do. Obviously, the nose went quite early on. He was
The blood pressure was really high. And you could see that. I mean, 7 reps in some groups, you know, that could have been a much better score again.
Of course. It's unfortunate for him, he was in this group.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gav, we heard like watching him, he kind of just went down with that first rep. Apparently, he had an issue with his ribs.
Yeah, Colin was like, oh yeah, ribs can pop during squats. I was like, can they? Is that a common thing?
It's not a common thing because I've never seen it before, if I'm totally honest, but...
Not to say that that's not what happened.
Like, you know, it clearly, obviously happened, and if you pop a rib, it's excruciatingly painful. So I'm being under that pressure, that would have felt horrible for the big man, and just not the way he would have wanted, you know, to start his world's strongest man.
Of course.
Contest didn't pull out though. Tough guy Gav is, and he kept going. On to the loading race. So we got the 5 different implements.
This was an exciting loading race group, wasn't it?
This group was fast.
Who had to go first? Was it Gav went first on his own?
Gav went on his own. He did 4 in 69 seconds. And then we had I think it was...
we then had Tom and Maxime up against each other.
And that was a fast group.
Yes.
So Tom, the only person to go under 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is just...
That's definitely the fastest out of all the groups, isn't it?
The fastest out of all the groups. And Maxime almost next to Tom, you kind of thought... You know, you almost didn't pay any attention to him just because Tom was so quick and you focused on Tom.
And Tom's closest to the camera and all
that.
Right?
But Maxime's time was rapid as well.
He was.
You know, that would have been first in most of the other groups. 42 seconds.
You want to go next to the best because in terms of a pacemaker, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? It's easy to feel like you're doing great if you've got a slow dude next to you.
It depends on the kind of person you are. Sometimes when you see someone shoot off that quickly...
Oh, I'm a competitor. I don't compete in anything. But I want the fastest. I want to measure myself against the best.
and Tom is, you know, he's so tall, but he's so athletic with it. And he just covers distance, and the way he picks up these awkward implements.
And he's much bigger this year as well, and it hasn't affected his fitness at all.
Still
Obviously, we
really well.
saw him in the Highlands the week before. In fact, a couple of days before they flew out. He was massive, wasn't he? Like, never seen big. Tom look that big.
No, he was looking big and strong and still fit with it.
Yeah,
so,
it's amazing.
Coming in shape this year, taking a win that he needed. After the first two events, taking third place, he would have wanted the win.
Yeah.
And it was a good win. But like I said, Maxime Boudreau coming second
excellent.
on this one. And in a time that would have beaten most guys in the other groups.
Yeah.
And then Novikov, also a decent time as well. 44 seconds. Very fast time.
Unfortunate for him, really. That in the end, it didn't actually matter. But yeah.
When we compare to different groups, when you can on certain events like that, it's always interesting to look and compare across the 25 athletes.
Yeah, definitely.
To see where people would have come, and that's always an interest. I enjoy doing it. I'm geeky with it, but maybe some people watching calm down, Loz. No one cares, mate.
Put it away, Loz.
But no, it was a real fast group of guys on this one. Next event, the dumbbell event, and we saw this in yesterday's heat for the first time. The dumbbell is 4 sets of double dumbbells, clean to the shoulders and pressed. The lighter ones, not too bad. Once it gets heavier...
It's a messy old event, isn't it? We saw all sorts going on.
Personally, if I was there, my tactic would be to go straight from the floor, power clean it straight up to the shoulders. And I think if you've got the power to do that, it's not too bad. All the guys are strong enough to press. There's a little bit of stability involved, but the clean, it tends to be once they get to the third and fourth pair of dumbbells,
really
the weights are heavier, they're already a little bit fatigued, and you saw it was quite ugly, and you can see injuries kind of coming from it. That's what I don't like about it.
Yeah, we had Maxime. He had some sort of, he was kneeing up his arm, and who was he up against? I think Trey. Trey was just trying to brute power it up, and
it was almost like Trey was trying to bicep curl it, whereas Maxime would manage to get the one up.
Yeah,
but then he was trying to sort of do the same, like you would, almost like you would do when you're sat on a bench. So on a bench, you sort of kick them up with your knee.
Yeah.
But when you're stood up there with one dumbbell, you've got all that weight on one side, and then you're trying to get down. You've got a balancing act going on.
That's fatiguing at the same time.
You're draining yourself quickly. You're really the most effective way, if you're strong enough, is to power clean it, and that's what the sort of best guys managed to do. I think Tom and Alexei both managed to get to the individual dumbbell.
They did.
Tom looked fatigued by the time he got there. Didn't manage to get any reps with the I think it was 100 or 100.
It's a 100 kilos. The monster dumbbell.
So normally a 100 kilo dumbbell for Tom would be quite comfortable.
Yeah.
But after doing those 4 implements, it's quite draining.
And the problem is, Alexi's so good at the dumbbell. Like, when you're up against... I think it was the right time to stop. I mean, Alexi did 3 reps on that dumbbell. He didn't need to, but he did it.
He was just... he was off.
Yeah, he could have carried on all day, it looked like, as well.
And I think Tom knew... Really, I mean, Alexi's so good at the dumbbell. Tom is so good at Atlas stones. It would be silly to... I think if there was one event Tom wanted as a banker event... It's the Atlas Stones, and obviously we moved into the Atlas Stones. I mean, very quickly, with Alexei winning that event, he won the group, so he got to go through to the final. Doesn't need to do the Stones.
We're very pleased about that after last year's debacle.
This is a great group of stone lifters as well. You've got Bobby Thompson.
No, you're in the wrong group.
Sorry, Maxime Boudreau.
Yeah.
Tom Stoltman. And we've got Trey Mitchell.
Yes.
Three of the best stone lifters in the competition, all in the same group. There was a lot of talk of the battle between Novikov and Trey from the year before. Unfortunately, Trey didn't manage to get into the stones. I would have loved to have seen all three of them in a normal stone run.
So would I.
You know, that would have been more interesting to me. And I keep saying it, but I do not like this format.
No.
It's tough. And
Start a petition.
no one listens anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I'll tell you why I don't like the stone format. You've got basically five guys in each group.
Yeah, that's right.
4 events.
Yeah.
To get to the final.
It's crazy.
Or to get to that's not many events. You know, it's so easy.
It's a maximum of 20 points.
Exactly. And 4 events is very, very easy to manipulate events for certain athletes. This is why I don't like it. I would rather see 6 events, all the guys go head to head, best guys out of the 6 events get through to the final.
And I think that's why they get so much grief. Oh, you're helping out certain athletes. This is happening because of stuff like this.
I actually think I understand why they did it. Originally, they didn't want guys running away with the heats, but by bringing it down to only 5 athletes and 5 events, it's very hard to almost the second and third place aren't that far ahead of the 4th place guys. So and even the 5th place sometimes. So you could have a group that by the time you get to the stones still has 5 guys that could potentially get through to the final.
Yeah.
That is going to be a lot more exciting.
Yeah, than just watching 2 guys with a bloody stone. Yeah. And that's what happened in your group in 2018. Half a point between 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. That would have been exciting to see. Enormous Atlas Stone run, or better yet, any other bloody event. But no, we just had 2 guys.
I've seen it in other groups. Mark Felix, I've seen it happen to a number of other guys. And if you take this group as an example, Maxime Boudreau, excellent stone lifter, goes out first, bangs out 7 stones, almost got the 8th stone up.
Yeah.
Would have won in any other group.
Yeah.
But he's up against the best stone lifter in the world
Tom
right now.
Stoltman.
Tom Stoltman. If there's one event Tom wants as his banker, it's this event. It would be, like Eddie wanting a deadlift. It would be like, me wanting a yoke, or, Zadrunas wanting a log. You're putting that guy's best event. It's favouring heavily one event.
Yeah, I never think there should be so much emphasis on one event. And I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Atlas Stones is not the original Strongman event. It wasn't even in the first couple of World's Strongest Man. So.
World's Strongest Man started in 77. I think Atlas Stones appeared for the first time in 86.
And it was the McGlashan Stones.
Yeah. And then it wasn't always in every year.
And it wasn't the last event either. It was somewhere in the middle. It was just,
It's a great event. Atlas Stones is a great event.
Yeah, it's nothing against the Atlas Stones, but for Christ's sake, it's the same old all the time, isn't it?
Anyway, it came down to these 2 gents.
Are we whining? Are we whining too much?
We're going to be boring people with our whining.
No, I think people agree. Let us know if you agree. I think you agree.
Comment below. Do you agree? We'll get a petition going. You never know. Something might come of it.
I'll get my placards out.
Let me get this done. Maxime Boudreau, 7 stones in 38 seconds.
That's good, isn't it?
Really good.
Bless him.
If you've seen the first 2 heats, no groups managed to do 7 of the stones. Tom, first stone, 1 motion. Second stone, 1 motion. Third stone, 1 motion. I think it was only the 7th. I think
that he lapped it.
May have been the 6th. I might be exaggerating, but the 6th or 7th.
No, it was the 8th.
he lapped it and popped it up, and then he did all 8 in 39 seconds. So
that's crazy.
He was just,
and he took his time on the last one as well, didn't he? Because
he
knew he just had to lift it.
He just wanted to pop it up. He's an incredible stone lifter and getting more and more confident with it. Really pleased to see him into the final.
Definitely.
Alexei Novikov looking extremely good. So we've now got 6 guys into the final, 2 more heats. And tomorrow's heat is heat number 4.
Yes, the one that you were talking about yesterday. JF's group.
So I enjoyed tonight's show a little bit more than the previous 2, if I'm honest.
I did too. I don't know if we're just getting used to this format and we've accepted it and rolled over, or if it genuinely was more exciting. I feel like it was more exciting. Though.
Yeah, I think there wasn't any injuries. The guys kind of all got through it. It was a good some good performances as well to watch.
Yeah.
The performances by the guys are always great. The guys are awesome. It's just being able to showcase that.
Of course. Stacked group as well, which, as horrendous as that is for the athletes, it's quite fun to watch.
Oh, without question. It's, you want to see the best guys going head to head. But Alexei Novikov looking extremely good. Tom Stoltman looking extremely good. Going to be 2 awesome athletes to watch in the final.
Wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know.
Don't know what's going on.
Right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed our little recap of this week's show. We tried to keep it a bit quicker because we didn't want to go through the events and
Don't want to
everything.
bore you.
But hopefully you're enjoying these little recaps. We enjoyed doing them. Appreciate all the comments and the support you guys give us. And we'll be back tomorrow with group number 4. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.